look who's back. Look who we found. Everybody out in the audience there, say hi to Scott Redler. He's back from the future. Scott went 10 years into the future and came back, and now he has a beard. So how is everybody doing out there? The Red Dog is home. He's healthy. He's happy. And we are here to go through all that's happened over the last week, which has been quite a bit. So, Scott, first of all, how are you doing?
Woo, right. When did we do this last video? I think we did the video. It was probably a week ago on Tuesday. And then I went in the hospital on Wednesday and surgery was Thursday. So it's been a week since Thursday. Sometimes it feels like it was like 5 years ago that I had the surgery. And sometimes it feels like yesterday. It's very, it's a weird like feeling. It's like, it's a little out of body experience when you think back of the last week and the trauma, the people you met, the surgeons, the RNs, everyone in the system, all the people, getting things done. It's like one big whirlwind to be sitting, down here just in my spot with you, my man, with the community from around the world and the Alpha team. It's like I have gratitude, gratitude just that, today's technology, gratitude of just trusting the science and just putting myself in a position and us putting ourselves in a position to get things behind us. I'm very, very happy that it's surgery was a week ago. And Mike, when was the first time I told you about the situation? I'm trying to remember, like, when did this process even start?
You told me about like a few weeks before the surgery that something that you had a medical thing you might be dealing with and you weren't sure when you were going to be out. So if we want to, but before we get into all that, guys, we need you to spread the word because we are going up against Roaring Kitty right now.
Oh, I forgot.
Roaring Kitty is live right now. Scott, we have over 1,000 people listening, but we need to take on Roaring Kitty. So if you could like, comment, retweet this video.
Well, first of all, we got the Red Dog versus the Roaring Kitty. Come on. Dogs and cats can get along, but he's going to be here and he's going to be out of here within a few weeks and months, and he's not adding value. So let's hang out a little bit here and and just talk a little bit about life versus whether or not GME could be a short squeeze for a day or a week, and chances are no one's making a career listening to the Roaring Kitty. No one makes a career using the market as a casino and betting. Yes, we do use indicators and volume, and we connect the dots. That's what we do for a living. But that's not what's going to create a career. It's going to be how you approach your life, actively, intermediate, long term. How do you approach your health actively, intermediately, long term? And there are 1,000 pieces to this puzzle, and it's us to like just use the filter of that and create whatever works for us. So I do thank you for tuning in here versus the Roaring Kitty.
Yeah, and we have to thank all our extra special VIPs like Ultra Mega Dave. I see Mario in here. Yeah, lots of familiar faces. And Greta's texted me. I think Greta's watching. She said she likes the beard. So let us know in the audience. Do you prefer the bearded Scott Redler? Because I'm getting these very strong, like Don Johnson 1985 vibes.
Really? And does the blue help too? The little baby blue? I should have worn my blazer.
Yeah, I am a straight man, but I have to say, when I see this beard, I am feeling something when I see the Red Dog. Okay,
easy, Scott, Mike, easy. All right, how about this?
Scott,
does this help? Wait, hold on. I don't know if I can raise my arm yet, but
Oh yeah, that's a good look. Everybody wanted Scott to wear that this jacket on Fox Business. Wait, did you wear it? I think you did wear it.
I did wear it on Fox Business. Remember that? I said when the video was going to break above whatever that breakout level was to start the year, I would put it on. I would be Red Dog Ives because we were so bullish there. And I got to give it to Joey B. He's the one who got me this. He sent it to me for Christmas. And, I like a little colorful, a little flamboyant Red Dog. I try and be a little bit more low key, and use discipline, but I can be a little flashy at times. What do we think? We like the blazer? There we go.
Yeah, Scott. So I'm just right. We have like there's dozens and dozens of comments. People are everybody's out there sending support. So if you're new here, and I don't know why you would be here not knowing this story, but to make a long story short, Scott got poison ivy. When he's gotten poison ivy in the past, he's been very sick. He went to the doctor. They ran a few tests, detected a heart murmur. A few weeks later, he's in surgery to repair a valve, and which surgery appears it went well. Scott's bouncing back very quickly. We know Scott is very healthy. He takes care of his body very well. He's probably, I mean, well, I will stroke Scott's ego a little bit. He's got to be in like the top 1% in terms of fitness for guys his age. And it's not like, and seriously, if you ever run into Scott in the street, you challenge him to a push-up contest. And even if
No,
you're like
just give
20,
me a fist bump. I'm good. A fist bump in the street would be nice. I always like to say, as long as you're not throwing tomatoes at me, I'm okay. I'm very happy. You know, fist bump, a what's up, Red Dog. I love that. It's a lot of fun. It happens a lot lately, which is cool. You know, I always said that it's good when people, you know, embrace and you know, or show gratitude, which I do to everyone else, and you know, that means that we're trying to help. You know, the whole thing here, to me, like the real reason why I try and be so transparent and share my life experiences, because I'm a nobody. You know, I'm just like you guys. I'm married. You know, I have a son. I want to raise him the right way. I was raised the right way, and try and just show you what's been working for me. And it might not work for you, but maybe it does work for you. And this was just, you know, another experience that I got blindsided. Like Mike said, 5 weeks ago, I was running the reservation, you know, with my dog, which I've been doing for years. And then all of a sudden I get poison ivy. The next thing I hear, I need to have open heart surgery when I had no symptoms. I had not one symptom. You know, it wasn't like I had shortness of breath. It wasn't like I was breathing heavy. I was sweating. I was lethargic. I had not one. And I was being told that I have to, you know, put myself through surgery. And when they described the process of it, I had a choice. Do I do it, you know, or do I put it off? You know, like there's lots of different decisions to be made about 2 weeks ago. And now here I sit for you.
Okay. All right. So Scott, let's wind back a little bit, because we've talked a lot about the process of going to the doctor and getting the diagnosis and all those things. But let's go back to day of surgery. You know, I know you had like preparation the day before. Now you have time to stew about the surgery itself, life in general. What are you thinking about as you're anticipating the surgery?
You know, I listen to a lot of motivational videos. So, you know, I was thought about what I could say to help everyone out there who might be dealing with something. It's good to, you know, dot the I's and cross the T's as you go through life, because, you know, when you are sitting, you know, after surgery at 1 o'clock in the morning and you're on painkillers and you can't move, and you have tubes coming out of here and tubes coming out of there and you know, it's just you and your thoughts. A lot of your thoughts come back to you. A lot of like what you did well, what you didn't do well. How's your relationship with your family? How's your relationship with your kid? You know, are you lying to yourself about work, about your effort? You know, just anything that you feel like you haven't done wrong or you haven't done right in your life comes back. So they always say, like, you know, when you die, you know, you meet God. You know, that's what a lot of people say. It's really when you're in a process or a place where you're not dead and it's just you versus yourself in the mirror and your thoughts come back to haunt you. It could be very haunting, you know. So for me, I'm very, very happy that, you know, as I lay in bed at 1 o'clock in the morning, the day after surgery, and I can't feed myself, I can't move. You know, I say control what you can control. I couldn't control a thing. You know, I had unbelievable nurses. And you could tell the difference between a good nurse that really, really cares and one that just wants to get off shift. So that's a whole nother thing. You know, you do your job, you do it well. You can make a difference if you do your job well. And the nurses and the doctors and that did their job well while you're sitting there helpless, they were so phenomenal and so different. They weren't billionaire hedge fund managers. They were people taking care of people. And most of them actually came from service people, like people who were in the military, which I thought was interesting. But when you're laying in there in the bed, like I did, you know, one thing I feel happy about post surgery is like I didn't have that many things haunting me. You know, I thought about my relationship with my son and what we've done together, and I wouldn't change that much. I thought about my relationship with my wife, and how we work on it and how it's been awesome. And, from meeting her at spring break on the beach to getting married on the beach to having our son and living and, and then I thought about work and, could I be, at $1 billion hedge fund making a hell of a lot more? Or am I happy, having my community around the world trading and being local for my kid? I was having like happy thoughts. So it's a good thing to be balanced in your head prior to major life events, because if you're not balanced in your head, these thoughts will haunt you. And then usually if you survive that event, you have a lot of work to do to change what went that haunted you in your head that night or those few days. So I'm not saying I'm perfect afterwards. I have a few things that, came to me to help create Red Dog 3.0. But I will say, continue to work on yourself where, you close off doors in your head that have been that you need to fix. Like you got to fix what's going on in your head, because that's what's going to be a problem when you're sitting there helpless. That's going to be that problem, and if you take care of yourself and you take care of your relationships and you can control what you control to the best of your ability, there's nothing that's going to haunt you when you're sitting there. Then you could relax and let the signs take over, let the surgeons do what they have to do, the nurses do what they have to do, and you just relax and trust the process. So one thing I think that could help you guys, if you happen to go through anything, is that you want to be in the right frame of mind. Because I was sitting there the second night, I might have got 45 minutes of sleep laying there. You could all of a sudden hear your heartbeat going crazy. Tubes could bother you. You could be in pain. Like there's so many things that could make the situation worse versus, breathing and just relaxing and letting it come to you. So, and then there's there's so many things that are worse than you. There's like I was in the ICU the night before. There was someone there that was on their third heart surgery and they went through the front. There was someone else there that, was battling cancer and getting a valve replaced. And I felt like, like I was like a little baby, like worried about them going through my side robotically. And here they are dealing with cancer. Like there are some crazy people going through some crazy things out there. So it's not all about you. It's about, having compassion for those around you, and it's crazy seeing things, and so I think the more you can introduce your kids to things, also the more you open their eyes to, what's going on in the real world versus what's going on in our little fairy tale lives. Because a lot of us that are listening to this, not saying you're in the 1% or you're some kind of privilege, but chances are, you're 3 generations from someone who had 50 cents in their pocket. You know what I'm saying? And now your children or whoever is a lot more of that further along. So it's such a big process, and it's not built in a day. It's built over a journey. So your journey changes and turns, and and each event will shape your next version of yourself. And I feel just gratitude to be sitting here and being able to, interact with you guys all over again, trade, be with the family, be with friends, and just on the road to recovery with this behind me instead of it in front of me, because we tackled it head on.
Okay, gonna read off some more comments, but Scott, you talked about, or show more comments rather, Scott. So you talked about this concept of Red Dog 3.0. Now, I think it's very common when people are going through these, like this is an actual life or death event, sort of bargaining with the gods. If you get me, I don't know if you do this, but like basically, if you get me through this,
right,
I will make up for it by doing X, Y, Z. So
I'll never do this again. Right.
Yeah. So is there anything you want to do differently now that you're past this?
For those of you who have known me for a long time, I feel like I had my first version change when I had my back surgery in 2017. And then I also had a version of me change when I was 30, when my best friend died of leukemia. So I've had a lot of different stages where Red Dog went from, being a little narcissistic or, being me first and, not having the humility. Like there's a lot of things that happen. When my friend passed away when I was 30, I was in a different spot. I was living in the city, just having fun and drinking and partying. And that got me very serious and disciplined, which helped me as a trader and then helped me become, just a better person as far as listening and knowing that we're all not invincible, And then really as an adult having the back surgery in 2017, that was really, my thing where like, I was taking things for granted. I did 2 Ironman. I swam from Alcatraz. I, maybe was a little too flamboyant about my fitness and, trying to get people to do like I was on my back, laid back, and I was just really not, what was the word? I didn't appreciate sweating. I didn't appreciate a walk. I didn't appreciate, and then after back surgery, after being in pain for 3 months and then in recovery for 6 months, I rearranged my entire fitness to, the mountains and the Ragnar races, things that I know that needed to make me work, and then, and also spending time more. That's when I really changed as far as saying, hey, I'm glad I'm around. I'm glad I get to help Chase become who he is today and hopefully more tomorrow, and spend time with the wife. And, this time there's another event where I feel like, not to say I'm embracing, like I kind of, everything that I've embraced helped me here. Like for 51, all those things, my friend passing away, back surgery, having the routine and probably everything helped with this, to be honest. Like it's a week later and I feel pretty good. And I went through crazy hell the last week. If I was sick and overweight, it would have made it harder. Coughing, sneezing, that would have crushed the heart. Not having a relationship that I wanted with my wife and my son would have, instead of sleeping 45 minutes a night, I would have slept 5. Not having the relationship with my CEO, Sean, and having, a great relationship with Mike, where like, take your time, not putting things away for a whole life insurance policy just in case I did die, or a disability, policy just in case I couldn't trade. I had all these things that help give my mind peace to face the next obstacle, and all obstacles happen in different ways. So I'm just happy that at 51, to 70, there's gonna be a whole new set of problems, and I'm gonna have to continue to work on myself to keep myself happy when things, little things, not big things need to make you happy, but little things to make you happy. I know I could smell flowers and make me happy, like little things. I think I'm in a spot where I just want to teach more. I want to help more. I want to, give back in a way where, I just want to teach. I just want to teach. I want to perform and I want to teach. I want to be a better captain trading on the field and a better communicator to those, and have more empathy for those who I think should be ahead of where they are, and help them get to where they want to be. That's truly what I want to do. And I feel like I could do that. And I already have somebody that reached out that went to their cardiologist and have to get a valve repair also. And I've already connected them to my doctor at Cornell in the city. And right away, it hasn't even been a week, and someone is getting an open heart surgery and they have a valve repair that they never thought. Not saying I'm just saying that there are ways to give back. Everyone's got to find a way in their head from what they've learned to help give back. And if you do that, grassroots version, that's what makes, I think, the world a better place. And, even like the ice barrels, I was like the ice barrels and the sauna, that did it to you. I'm like, both my cardiologist and my surgeon said it had nothing to do with it. That actually almost got them to get me out of the ICU within a day, because my heart rate was back at 6, my blood pressure was back at 120 over. They're like, you're too ahead of schedule. I'm like, relax, let me stay one more day. But because of maybe doing the ice barrels and the saunas and all these kind of things, and putting myself through things to make it feel like I'm getting over an obstacle to build self-esteem, that helped me get through this. So they say, and this is not even tough times. They say tough times, lead to strong men and strong civilization and strong kids. And then easier times doesn't. It's like, you almost have to test yourself. And then one of those things is like, make a list of promises to keep to yourself. Because if you keep those promises to yourself, that's what creates your self-esteem, that keeps you happy. If you say you can do 5 things and you don't do them, that those demons, are going to haunt you in the night when you have no more time left to do those. And that's when you're going to be saying to whoever it is you talk to, let me get through this, and I promise you I'll change this, and that. You don't want to be laying there unconscious or laying there helpless, asking for more time because you need more time to make a change. Make a change when you can. And I'm sure those things will present themselves to me as we move forward.
Okay,
so now it's getting a little hot in here a little bit.
Yeah, okay, let's take the cut off. Okay, so Scott, in terms of perspective, I think this is an important comment to read from Peter. He said, hear you, Scott. was paralyzed in 1976 for Guillain-Barré syndrome, had to learn to walk, do things again. So a lot of people have, and if anybody spent any time in a hospital, you will see people going through the most horrible things, and they have to find a way to move forward. So Scott, something I think is really interesting. I'm going to psychoanalyze you for a minute. But I think it's interesting because I know Scott as a very much like now guy, because that's the mind of a trader, because he wants to know like what's going on right now. But then also it seems like you have this very big long-term perspective, because it seems like you've planned your life well in terms of the finances, making sure your family's going to be okay. So, and also just thinking about your health long-term, doing the hard things in the morning, the saunas, the workouts, all that stuff to keep you healthy for the long term. So where does that come from? I mean, is it just a general sense of optimism?
I don't know. It's put, your being and your character is created through life. I started like, and then you also have to like reflect. Actually, I was home for a little while. So even with Chase, like I got, to be honest, I feel like, basketball is this, or that's hard. Schoolwork is hard. And I hear him complaining about, finals and tests and this and that. And I was like, Chase, when have I never really heard you complain so much? Stop complaining. I'm like, I've heard in my videos that you're a winner or a whiner. I'm like, come on, it's up to you, us to guide them too. And I remember as a kid, when I was doing a lot of things, and I remember my parents telling me about my grandparents who, basically survived the Holocaust. They survived the Holocaust where they were in Poland. My grandfather left, went back for my grandma, escaped. They got taken into a Siberian work camp and were there for 2 years before they got liberated. They went back and every single one of their family was dead, and thank God they left and came back, and they came here with 50 cents in their pockets. And then my dad, he was ready to start working, he got drafted for Vietnam, and came back, didn't have 2 cents and had food stamps for a little bit. And then, went to be a trade, went to be a hairdresser. Like, all these things happen. You got to think about them. Sometimes we're moving so fast, you don't think about, things in your life and things that, impact you. And, people are going to laugh, but like, besides my parents and my family, I felt like Rocky's been a big impact. I hate to say Sylvester Stallone, like people gravitate towards certain things, and the Rocky movies and the, going in the one more round when you don't think you can, pushing yourself. Like you say, it's a today, like making sure you're testing yourself always. If you don't test yourself, you don't know your limits. And they say limits, like fears are just illusions. So until you get rid of the illusion, you're never going to know where your limits are. So, this has just been, a big problem. Also, maybe, living in an area where I lived in Sasser growing up, and, everyone that I lived near had a lot more money than I did. So in order for me to keep up with my friends who got a lot of money from their parents, I was a busboy, I was a waiter, I was an expediter, I was, then a bartender, and then I MC bar mitzvahs and weddings. And, at the time I was busy and upset, and I'm like, I had to do all these things, but I had money in my pocket. I didn't have to ask for it. It built self-esteem. And all those things that I did helped build a personality that has evolved you for today. So anyway, I'm babbling, but I just think that everything that happens in life is what creates your character. And sometimes you need character building events in order to change your character. Okay. And one of them happened to me again when my friend died of leukemia, when we were party animals in the Hamptons and living in the city. And we didn't think that, we thought we were indestructible. And then another was back surgery. Now, this. So hopefully you change before you're forced to change. And the only way you do that is always reevaluating the landscape around you and just, trying to be present and listen. The more you listen, the more you learn. And I'm going to give a shout out to my buddy, Michael Chirasula. I think I keep saying his name wrong. He had the exact same thing happen to him 4 months ago. And he coached me through this entire thing. He made sure I knew what to expect before, what to expect during, what to expect after. He showed me where he was. You learn from other people that have gone through experiences. So it's good to learn yourself, but it's also, you can learn and have a little bit of a curve if you listen. They give you 2 ears and 1 mouth, right? So you want to listen before the more you talk. So if you listen, you're going to learn, and then you could also obviously get ingrained by experiencing it yourself. And then once you do learn and experience something with someone else, then be there for someone else. Like he was there for me and he really helped. And I'm hoping that I could be there for as many people as possible in any which way or form.
Okay, I'm going to show some more comments on the screen, including from our good friend Michael Haraka, who takes care of all of our tech needs. He's one of our great friends. Okay, so Scott, we're going to get a little deep, and I'll throw this question out to the audience here. So, do you ever think it's just a miracle that we're actually here, that we actually made it here, that we're alive? Like all the things that had to fall into place for us to be alive and breathing and on this call right now.
Well, that was one of the questions I actually asked my surgeon. You know, I said, you know, because I had no symptoms going into this, I had none, and I said to my surgeon, I go, you know, I looked back at like what life expectancy was in 1930, right? And it was 45. They didn't have all these medical procedures and all this kind of stuff. And I said, what happens if I was living 150 years ago? She's like, you'd probably be dead in a year or two. And then I said, what happens if I don't go through the surgeries? Like there are people that don't believe in surgery. They don't educate themselves and they're scared or this and that. And she had one individual that didn't do the surgery, then 4 years later needed it, and became more of a rescue and couldn't have it. So, you know, we have to give gratitude that we're here in 2024. Life expectancy for males now are 74, females 74. It was like 45 in 1930, I think. Don't quote me, but I was looking at it because they didn't have all these beautiful medical, techniques. So we are you know, it is a universe. It is a little crazy. It's like, you know, it's like you think about it. Like I've stargazed once or twice, even like sitting there with my son Chase. I'm like, do you think there's living people out there or living things? He's like, no. I'm like, how could you say that? I'm like, look at every one of those specks out there. I'm like, here we are. We're one speck and we're this whole ecosystem world. And you don't think there are other organisms of some capacity? So it is kind of crazy when, you know, that's a whole nother thing. Like, what happens if I did die? You know, where would I go? You know, who are you? Are you done? Like, you know, that's what they say. Like, you know, they count down 3, 2, 1, and then you want to wake up and see eyes over you, you know, or maybe you woke up somewhere else and these are all things that come to haunt you once you are not anywhere, you know, if you don't think you did things right. So I think the more you do things right, I love the whole karma, you know, it's like the more you do when people aren't looking, the more, you know, the spirits and the gods are watching. And then the more luck / not saying you need luck, but they say luck is when opportunity meets preparation. But there are definitely some other things that happen that are out of our control. Whew. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is kind of crazy, you know.
And then, of course, there's another option, which our friend Itz is pointing out in the chat. Are we just part of a simulation?
We don't have time for all this. We'll talk about that at a happy hour. We'll play some music and we'll get really deep into you know, the the meaning and where we are and who we are and what we are, and you know. But at this point, you are who you are, and you can evolve. It doesn't always have to be I'm going to be the new Mike or I'm going to be the new Red Dog. Just I'm going to try and be a little bit of better version of Red Dog or Mike or Itz or Eazy-E or Tony or Jason Ballard or Dunks or Space Specialists. You know, and you have to work on it too. I listen to the same videos in my sauna gratitude video hundreds of times. It's learned. You know, some things are innate, but a lot of things are learned. That's why they say you want to, you know, surround yourself with positive people. You want to have a great community. You want to get rid of all the negativity. You want people that are going to pull you up, not push you down. You want people that are, you know, that are going to wish well on you, not secretly, you know, feel bad about themselves. Like it's, you know, well, all these things happen, you know, and you know, and as you go through life, you can figure out who you want to be around. I'll tell you, I block 10 people a day from Twitter. I do. I'm not saying I need you to agree with me, but just don't be an asshole. Excuse my French. Nice guys don't finish last. It's nice to be nice. It's nice to give to charity. It's nice to help with the community. It's nice. And then also you have to be a little selfish. It's nice to be able to provide for your family. And if you work hard, you should get paid for it. Not everyone gets a damn trophy, but some people might need a little help to, you know, be enhanced and, you know, get their true potential out. So if you have that ability to help people do that, that's more gratifying than doing it for yourself.
So what are you looking forward to this weekend? It's you know, your first full weekend out of the hospital. What is the Red Dog going to be doing?
Well, actually, tonight I'm going to. I'll be out of the house for the first time. I'm going to a service at the synagogue. My best friends are getting the Barclays are getting honored because they've been there for 22 years. And guess what? About 4 years ago, they took in an individual from Israel because there was a program, taking in individuals and showing them the U.S. and this and that. And a year ago, or obviously, when that horrific attack happened on Israel, he as an 18-year-old had to go to the army, and he's been in the army for a year. He shaved head, been in the military, a medic. So he's going to speak at the temple. So, I'm going tonight. I might not feel well. I'm going with my wife and my son. I'm bringing Chase to make sure he sees that someone 2 years older than him, what happens to them there, to get rid of this whole, look, this is so difficult or that's so difficult. They have no idea what difficult is, and I'm not saying I'm pressing. I'm just saying, so I'm so excited to go and listen to, a lot who I've met years ago coming back, being able to tell the story, because there are a lot of people that have been killed, and obviously, a lot of things are going wrong. I'm not going to get into the debate on, obviously we all, respect human life, but anyway, so that's what I'm doing tonight. And then tomorrow I'm going to go for a walk in the reservation, not a run. I can't hold Cadence on the leash, but I'm going to go there with my son and wife. Hopefully they'll come with me and just walk. And then I'm going to have a Red Dog sandwich. I'm on my first Red Dog sandwich at the Standard. They put it on as a special and told them they have to donate a certain percent of the proceeds to AHA, American Heart Association. And then I'll probably have to rest. This is my first day out. Hopefully I'm feeling good a little bit later. But all in all, it's been, and then slow and steady. I just met my cardiologist today, and my wife is like, oh, he can't do this. He can't. He's like, common sense. He's like, I'm not going to see you for 6 months. You're going to see a cardiologist in a week. She's like, he can't go in the sauna or the ice barrel, can he? He said, of course he can. But I wouldn't do 45 minutes tomorrow or put 4 bags of ice tomorrow. Just slow and steady, common sense. Usually we know what the right thing to do. We know when we're pushing it. We know when we're not doing enough. We know when we're half-assing it. So he's basically said, use common sense. He's like, you could be in better shape 4 months from now than you were, 5 months ago. So that's the answer, is that, your car, you fixed your tire and your car was running smooth. You dealt with the problem, and now just be smart, moving forward. Which is like in politics or anything. It's just be smart. Use common sense.
Okay, so speaking of common sense and following the rules, something I predicted was Scott finding a way to trade and get involved with the market from the friggin' ICU bed. Because I saw his positions updating on the VTF, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, can't he just take a break and just chill for a week? So did you, I was worried more about this than the surgery. Scott Redler going through stock market withdrawal. So what was it like just being away from the market, even for a short period of time?
Oh, it was funny. I had my surgery on Thursday. Not funny, but I had it on Thursday, and I was there all day. So, I woke up I couldn't, I was up all night, and I did have some leftover NVIDIA options. And I don't know if you guys remember with NVIDIA, it had its move to like 1155, and then it pulled back to the 1100s, and I had some 1100s left over, and I didn't sleep. And then I didn't know what, I had some limit, whatever in, and then I text trade support at like 6 a.m. I'm like, I'm alive. Like, great, that's so good to hear. I'm like, that means I need to know my positions, because it's a joke. I go, my wife's not collecting the whole life insurance policy, and I need to know what's going on. Like, well, didn't you leave light this? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, just what do I have? And she, oh, you have some NVIDIA $1,100 calls left. And then I find, fell asleep for a little bit. I woke up, it was 9:01, and I looked, the NVIDIA was trading at like 1125. And I text trade support. I'm like, I could hold them. I have 1100 by 1150 calls, but I'm like, let me just sell it, because if it's below 1100, to zero. And anyway, PS, it went down to 1096. It closed at like 1097. It would have been a zero. Instead, I got $25 in premium. And that gave me happy thoughts throughout the weekend that it was a good decision and a good choice. That I was like, all right, let me just salvage this trade and, whatever. So that was the trade the day after, and then I've done a few little things this week just to stay engaged, and, I could do that, right? It's just, anyway, it's in our blood. The markets are in our blood. And, so that's why I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And anyway, so that was the trade Not even within 24 hours from them putting my heart in neutral on a machine and deflating my lungs and keeping me on whatever it's called for 7 hours. But anyway, that was the trade.
Okay, I think Scott has to run to get into the VTF and say hi to. But everybody, let's give Scott a message of support in the comments. And so let me say something about Scott.
Can I say something before you? That I've had so many messages of support without the community, like lying there in bed, watching all every day I tried to do one tweet. Like day one, my eyes are open. I got hit by a freight train. Day two, they're taking tubes out of, and there were so many awesome comments from people from around the world. Reading those while I'm sitting there in La La Land helped me have a good mental, positive attitude. So you guys have all sent the positive vibes and this and that. And to be honest, not saying I want to end them today, you always do it. But from here, moving forward, starting Monday, unless you have a problem about what's going on with you, which you could email me, scott@t3live.com, and need my help, we're done with this. We're done with this for now. Surgery's done. I'm on the road to recovery. It's going to be about evolving 3.0, approaching the market, doing things that we're supposed to be doing, making the right choices, the right decisions. I appreciate all the gratitude and love. I want to give it back. So I don't want, don't feel compelled to, you've done enough. I'm back. I'm here. Now it's time for me to help serve you. And let's do this together. Have some fun, make some money, make some memories. I think wasn't that what it was, for our report? I was like, let's make memories and money in 2024.
Yeah. And we are definitely well, we're not going to talk about how much money everybody's making, but Scott, we are definitely making a lot of memories in 2024.
Yeah, we're making some money too, but the memories, and they say, if a check could solve your problems, and you don't have many problems. So just know that too. So, and you are where you are. And if you're looking to get somewhere else, you got to make changes. You got to map it out. Hopes and wishes are hopes and wishes unless you have a plan. And if you have something in front of you, I remember one last decision was, I could have my surgery on May 30th or June 29th. And I remember when I'm like, let's do May 30th. My wife looked at me like I had 4 heads. I'm not ready. She said that in front of the surgeon. The surgeon's like, dear, it's not your surgery. I'm like, thank God we just, boom. Otherwise I'd be sitting here waiting to have surgery for another 3 weeks. So what we could say is tackle your problems in front of you. Hopefully you're ready for them mentally, and get there mentally before you have crazy big, problems and obstacles to tackle.
Okay, I think that's a good note to end on. Somebody said that this was a bad idea because Roaring Kitty but we're up over 4,000, so we've done okay today. So Scott, I love you. I'm glad you're back, and I hope you keep the beard personally. I don't know how everybody feels. I don't know how Selena feels about it. I think Red Dog should keep the beard. So everybody, thank you for joining us. Scott will be back next week for more fun, and everybody have a good weekend.
Yeah. Listen, Monday I'm back in action. The routine, the process will start. It'll be a little modified, and I'm looking forward to being 6:30 club right away Monday morning, back with the Alpha team all day long. I might have to take a few breaks, but slow and steady. We're gonna rework ourselves back, and I appreciate the community, appreciate everyone, appreciate you, Mike, for helping get me through. And again, if you need me, Scott@t3live.com, and listen, learn, evolve, love, and don't sweat the small stuff, because when big things happen, you're never gonna be able to handle it. And enjoy the journey, Michael. Right? That's what we got to do, not the destination, because you're at your destination, it's over. Enjoy every step along the way. I appreciate you guys.
We have no choice at the end, so we have to make something happen on the way.
Exactly. I got to jump. I got to roll, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. Sorry if I